Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the 17th episode of Aaron, Steve, you want to say it? You want to say it?
The
The floor spacers.
podcast.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. All right. Got it. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, today is a very special day because it is number 17. And I don't know why that's a very special number. I just made it up.
It is because we have 17, or the Lakers have 17 championships.
Obviously, I'm a Lakers fan. Honorary.
Yeah.
You know, the Celtics also have 17 championships.
Yeah, but they haven't won in 13 years, so.
They haven't won since segregation was outlawed. So.
With
but
Tom
anyway.
Hudson.
Huh?
With Tom Hudson.
You know.
R.I.P. Tommy Hudson.
But yeah, guys, it's just not very, crazy, last couple of weeks. Just some general housekeeping and just general discussion for today.
It's kind of like the slower part of the season right now. We're just kind of waiting for the playoffs.
Exactly. It's like, you see teams start to flip the switch. You get to start to get a little bit of an idea about who's serious and who's not, right? So without further ado, like my name's Tom Holland. I guess let's start with, the talk of the week, which was the Sixers Nets game. Now I think that was pretty funny. No offense. All the Sixers fans came in and they were like, boo, send Bibbins. And they booed him at the hotel. They booed him at the bus. They booed him at the tunnel. They booed him in the bathroom. You know what I mean? And they booed him on the pregame shoot around. And then they were like starting to cheer when he made a dunk. And everyone was like, oh, cool, man. He's so trash. And then they proceeded to get absolutely trashed by the Nets. And the one thing I really want to talk about from that game is, how easily like Kevin Durant and Kyrie kind of just came together and were like, we're taking care of business tonight. And they kind of just drowned out like all the, hostile crowd and all that. And they were like, all right, we're going to do this. And obviously we all know what they're capable of on offense, but on defense, they really, really, tightened up the ratchet straps and, kind of spoiled the Sixers game plan. And I guess, it's actually kind of cool as well, I think, to see, guys like Seth Curry come in and do his thing. Obviously, he's been having a really good, tenure with the Nets so far. And I think Drummond, even though he had like 3 early fouls, like I thought he still has like an interior presence. So I thought that was pretty good for them. And I think, honestly, bro, like I still have Milwaukee coming out as the favorites for the East. But, dude, I don't know, man. Brooklyn's scary.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
An 8th seed.
Their defense looked really good in that game. Like, it was completely different than how it's looked the rest of the year. A huge part to Kyrie, to be honest. Like, Kyrie did a really good job on Harden that whole game whenever they were in the game together. Like, Harden would drive. Kyrie did a really good job sticking him. And then there would always be, like, that second guy to come in and help off Harden, kind of trap him every time he'd drive in. And then, he'd have to pass out. Nobody on the Sixers offense was really moving around or anything like that. So the offense was pretty stagnant for a lot of that first quarter, besides like the Embiid and Harden foul baiting that was going on the whole game because they couldn't really get anything else going.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that was probably like the most like playoff intensity game. Like, dude, we've been looking forward to that, especially since the trade happened for so long. And then like I definitely could tell like the intensity there was really insane, like because there was like all the talk about the police level.
That was nuts when they were showing that all in the
stuff.
beginning.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I didn't expect anything less, but like, and then they like all the random chant, like they just started randomly. And I remember when Embiid and Durant got into like mix up, the crowd was like, just said they just started the chant again on Ben Simmons. It was so random. It was like,
yeah,
dude, like that
was really the only positive that they had out of their whole experience going to that game, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, spent like $4K just to be like where the seats we were at last game. There was like probably like $2,000 just
Yeah.
insane. But like the game itself, like the intensity, like you could tell that Durant and the Nets like really, really wanted it compared to Philly. Like I don't think they were ready, and they were ready for that to like to come. They were expecting a big game, but like I don't think they obviously didn't match their intensity, and the game plan that the Brooklyn had was really good. As long as like them making shot, they're like on fire most of the game. So like uh if we get that series, I'm gonna ask, would you be? I'm sure this is kind of easy answer. Would you be concerned if you got them in the first round
For sure. I'd be
compared
concerned.
to who else is like in the mix for the? I think the Hawks. The Hawks are in the
Toronto,
playoff.
the 7th right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, a better question is, what do you think would be the outcome? Do you think Philly would make it out, or do you think it would be like a long series, or would Brooklyn take it if that was to
I
be the
mean,
first round series?
this might be
If
a cop out
everyone is
answer.
healthy.
It might be a cop out answer, but like it depends. Like we still don't know what Kyrie's situation is with the home games. We don't know if he's going to be able to play in those. We still haven't seen Ben Simmons on the court. Like as much as I think it's going to work with them, like we still haven't seen it, and he's still like right now they're saying he's like going through back soreness and he's still trying to get conditioned to play because he hasn't played all season. We don't really know what we're going to see from him yet. We haven't seen it on the court yet. So, and they're running out of time to kind of get, acclimated with their full roster. So it's going to be interesting to see that series if it does end up happening. But I would still rather, as a Sixers fan, I still rather play anybody else in the first round in that like bottom tier of the East than Brooklyn.
Yeah.
They have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, so they're going to show up in the playoffs regardless if everybody else is off or not.
Yeah, it's just like the situation. Oh, yeah. You can go.
Yeah, please. Stop talking while the Kings talking.
Okay, all right.
Actually, no. I guess this is a good point. I was just going to like double down on what Steve said. It's just like, does anyone want to play in the first round? You know what I mean? It's like, it's scary, but it's also true too. It's like the whole Kyrie situation. It's like, we got reports of them saying, "Oh yeah, we'll pay the fine," and then then they lifted the mandate and they were like, "Oh, it's only for private citizens or whatever." And it's just like, stuff like that. There's like a lot of unknown factors, I think, when it comes to this. And listen, like Harden's one of my favorite players, so like I'm praying that he figures it out. So like at least I guess the big game choke moments. So I'm thinking, if he's hopefully able to like watch film and kind of get better and kind of like be like, okay, this is how the Nets defense is going to play me. This is how I should counter. Again, that's what great players do. So I feel like I trust him. I feel like to kind of do that. So I'm not going to go like this every game. Obviously, it's not going to be like a blowout. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think that'd be a crazy good storyline. But I'm just saying though. I don't think it's going to happen. But if the Cavs do fall to the plane, Breeze is going to get rid of the Nets, so it shouldn't even matter. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like
interesting.
With like the general consensus of the NBA, like their reactions to that game, I feel like half the people were saying like, it's just one game, it doesn't matter. Like Harden's played really well in every other game so far, and then the other half of fans were more like, well, yeah, but this is like historically in big games in Harden's career, especially in the playoffs, he tends to not show up and do a lot of these like hunting for fouls when he can't get going offensively. He's not really looking for his teammates as often as he normally has been. But I feel like I fall somewhere kind of in the middle. It's like, yeah, that was kind of like the first big like playoff vibe game that he's played with the Sixers so far. And to come out and play like that was pretty disappointing. But, it is just one game. And, I'm kind of glad that he got it out of the way in the regular season rather than a playoff game. So now we can, adjust to that if that matchup were to come about. And it wasn't just Harden either. Like Maxey was getting cooked that entire night. They had Thibault as the primary defender on Kyrie, but they were switching and hunting for Maxey. Maxey was jumping every time Kyrie would pump fake, and he was just getting cooked out there the whole night. And same goes for Tobias. Every screen, he wouldn't even try to fight through it, and KD would just get an open shot in the mid-range. They were just exploiting both those matchups the whole night, and it was not a good look.
Yeah, no, it's true. And what's it called? I've been just watching that game. I'm just saying it doubles down on my Kevin Love is better for this team take. But whatever, this is me.
Plus the
But
bench too. Like
yeah,
Philly's bench
We got
isn't
nothing
like
out of our
strong
bench that
enough.
game.
Yeah,
Niang
like
hit some
it's
threes, but that was about it.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's funny. So Niang and Shake want to hit all of that against us, right? But when it comes to the Nets, they just want to go Brick City, I guess. But whatever. But no, I mean that was still a fun game though, regardless. Now before we move on, real quick, like I want to talk about the game that actually came after that game, which was the Nuggets Warriors, and that was a game in which the Nuggets actually lost, unfortunately, ratio. But at the same time, I can't really blame them because I think they played it back to back in Sacramento,
It was.
right? And like the night before, and I was actually watching that game. And I remember putting in the chat, I was like, yo, Monte Morris and Jokic are the best clutch duo in the league. And I mean, they tried also in the Warriors game as well. And they kind of fell short. But dude, honestly, I was just sitting down and just thinking about it. Like, again, I don't want to like go on too much of a tangent here because I know we have more topics to talk about. But I kind of want to talk about the Nuggets real quick because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I haven't really watched a lot of them this year. I've tried to watch. I think I watched like when the Lakers played them, I think, and then I know when the Cavs played them back in like November. I watched that, and then I watched like some games like here and there. But then that Kings game and then that Warriors game are the two like more recent games that I've watched. I've probably since like I say like January, I guess. But yeah, no. One thing I want to say again, like just major props to I guess like like the Nuggets like role players and supporting staff, or supporting cast, and like I just love Monte Morris. I just feel like, bro, he's just like looking kind of really slept on in terms of what he brings to the table. Um, obviously on offense, he's making some big shots. Just like his floater, his look off floater. Remember there was like a one play. He looked off Jokic and he had like a crazy nice like contested floater, and then the other end he comes back and he's guarding like Jordan Poole. And he's like doing a really good job of sticking him off the ball as well. And I was like, all right, that's pretty interesting. And I think just having like a guy like him is like very important for your team. And again, hopefully assuming that again like Jamal Murray can come back in the postseason, and MPJ and just all of that. I just want to see like a healthy Nuggets team because, bro, you got like all these like supporting guys like playing really well, and you add those guys back into the mix, like, bro, it's gonna be crazy. And what's it called? And another thing I want to talk about too, real quick, is I remember watching Aaron Gordon that game as well, and I remember there was like one stretch where he was kind of quarterbacking the defense a little bit, which was kind of cool to watch. I remember it was like a play where I think Curry crossed the half court, I think, and then he picked up, and then they ran an action to get him off of Curry, and then but then like that was more like a diversion type play, right? Because I think like there was like a weak side cutter or whatever like that, and he was coming in, and then I was watching Gordon the entire time, and he kind of came in to kind of stop the drive, but he didn't fully commit. And I remember the entire time I was watching, like obviously the camera zoomed out, but you could see him talking, and I think he was telling guys to move and all that. And honestly, I haven't watched Nuggets like that consistently to see if he does that like all game, every game. But just seeing like that moments like that, you know what I mean? I know his shot hasn't been, falling recently, but I think just in general, just seeing stuff like that again, like from a guy like Aaron Gordon, I think you would never think like he would be like a defensive quarterback. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying I saw a couple plays where he was, playing some really good team defense and kind of just talking in general. I just never really seen that from him before.
Oh yeah. I've watched a lot of Nuggets games this year, and I've noticed that too a lot. Like he's such a smart defensive player. Like I feel like he's like not to the level, obviously not to the level of Draymond, because Draymond's like, if he were healthy the whole year, he'd probably be defensive player of the year. But like he does a lot of similar things that Draymond does in that end. Like
Right.
what you were saying about him, like telling guys where they need to be all the time, like recognizing different cuts and different actions that the offense is doing. Like there's a lot of times where he's telling like 30, like what Jeff Green was he like 35 now, I'd say,
Yeah, I think
around there.
35 or something
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
like telling Jeff Green where to be on defense. I'm like, wow, it's like for a guy who's like 26, 27 to be like telling all these other vets where they need to be and everything, that's just like such a luxury to have on your team.
Right.
And then to also compliment Jokic on the offense as well with everything he does. It's just such an awesome piece to have.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, it's not even like him and then like, like Bones and all of that. Just major props to like again like the Nuggets like coming
Oh,
off.
Boogie's been playing really well
Yeah,
lately
Boogie,
too.
right. Exactly. Yeah, that's
Oh
good.
yeah.
Playing really great too.
You
So
just need all those like different pieces to compete for a championship league. You can't have like multiple people who are like, you know, like have the same skill set and stuff, and like having those intangibles that you can't teach and stuff. Like certain players have it, like you just don't like you could maybe develop it, but like having that like at a young age, I think he's only like 26, I checked. So like that's like a major plus if they can keep him around also.
How old is Monte Morris?
26.
Yeah, like, dude, it's again just bro. I feel people should talk about him more. Like, he's so nice, he's so tough. Like, bro, he just does everything right, and this is like,
For
it's,
years, he was the best backup point guard in the league, and like
huh?
I said for years he was the best backup point guard in the league behind Murray.
Oh yeah, no, I
And
mean,
like ideally you want him as a backup, but like he's so serviceable to have. Like it's such a
he's doing
luxury to
his
have
thing
him
though.
with a
That's
guy
the
like
thing.
Murray out the whole year.
Right. He's doing his thing as a starter, which is I think is like, bro, he's helping Jokic out there. It's crazy, but like, that 2-man game is actually pretty lethal. Like I like it a lot. But yeah,
I
yeah, my fault. Yeah, what'd you say?
I think if the season were to end today, I would probably have Jokic as my MVP.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I would agree.
What the things that
Um,
he's doing to keep that team afloat with like all the hardships with the injuries and everything, it's just incredible that they're still like they're six right now, but I think they're only like 2 games back of four or something like that.
yeah, yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And again, like I said earlier, hopefully, bro, they get reinforcements coming back in the playoffs, bro, because I just want to see them make a push. Honestly, you know what, I'm gonna say it right now, like. I would like to see them in the finals. Like obviously, I feel like LeBron's like still like LeBron and the Lakers. I guess like the number one thing. Like I was like obviously because it's my boy, but I mean apart from if I had to choose like who I want to see, like I would definitely say Denver for sure. I'm definitely going to root for them in the playoffs. But
I mean,
yeah,
they
I
made the
mean,
conference finals against the Lakers that year in 2020.
you mean that
I
Mickey Mouse?
think it's definitely if they're at
Yeah.
full strength, I don't think it's like out of the question for them to go
Yep,
farther.
right, definitely not. That,
And
again,
Jamal Murray.
yeah,
So yeah, it depends on so it just depends on how they come back. If they come back and how they play. If they play themselves.
Well, I think they said today that Jamal Murray's like 50-50 to come back this season or something like that as
There
of
was
right
a
now.
there was a video of him during shoot arounds or like something like against the Warriors, and like he was just like playing around, shooting around. Like he didn't look like. I mean, he's not. That doesn't mean he's game ready, but it's still a good
Right.
sign.
right.
I'm looking at the MVP race, the ladder, and it says Jokic is one, and then Embiid is tied second with Giannis. There's no like lead over him.
yeah, I don't hate that ranking. I think I agree with that.
I agree.
All right, but yeah, I guess moving on real quick. I mean, speaking of greatness, I mean, I mean, I don't know what else you can say to kind of describe this man. Otherwise, I mean, other than the fact that he might be extraterrestrial. But dude, I mean, LeBron second, 50 plus scoring game. Or I guess it was 50. We just straight up 50, right? Around 50.
It was 50,
Yeah,
yeah.
he finished with 50.
50 straight up, right? Yeah. So I mean, he dropped 56 last Saturday against Golden State, and now he just dropped 50. Last night against Washington. And I'm like, bro, it's like within the same week. Like, bro, when you consider the fact that he's 37, you know what I mean?
19th season.
19th season, leading the league in scoring right now. He just took over Embiid last night.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And bro, just seeing, bro, like obviously I get it. Like obviously he's not like they're not in the playoffs right now. They're still in play in range. You know what I mean? But look, the one thing I will say is I've seen on Twitter recently where there's a lot of discourse saying, oh, he's just stat padding, blah blah blah, all this, right? But the thing is, like the 250-point games they've won, right?
That's the only games they did win post All-Star break.
Exactly.
He had to drop 50.
When he had to drop 50 points, like bro, like that. First of all, it just shows you like I guess like the scope of what he's going to do on a nightly basis to try to win. And I mean, it's as crazy as it is, I guess it's also like low-key sad here and there. But again, like I will say props to the guys for stepping up yesterday, like Malik. I know he had like 21. I don't even know who else. I mean, I think Russ, I mean, his assist turnover ratio is pretty good. I think he didn't score much. So I think he had like 5 points or something like that.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was a
I
pretty
think
bad
he was
rush
like
game.
3 for 15, I think, shooting.
Yeah, but at least I guess he was like facilitating and pretty like running the offense pretty well. But I mean, apart from that, I think like again, it's just sitting here, bro. Like I think we're definitely like blessed to kind of see this. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like our the 30, 40-year-old I don't know, the IND founders. No, I'm playing. I'm about this shit. But no, but it's like the old heads, like they had Jordan, in the '90s, and then like
Yeah.
obviously, we weren't like I guess like old enough to kind of like take in what Kobe was doing. At least not in like the mid 2000s or whatever, but um and like then you talk about like how the older heads had like guys like I don't know, Kareem, Magic, and then like the older heads had like Wilt, and I was just seeing like just seeing the fact that like this man is 37 and he's like he still has a couple more, bro. It's like people were saying before, like when he was dropping like 25, 26, people were like, oh, that's the max he could do at this age, like that's all he could do. um he can't do anything more than this, but now he's actually dropping 50 and beating teams. I think, bro, it's just like crazy to see. And Aaron, I think it's even crazier that he's doing with our team, the Los Angeles Lakers, bro. Yeah, baby, yeah. But
I'm gonna look because like nothing to take away from like uh Embiid, but like it's crazy how like LeBron is like number one in scoring, but like yeah, if you see now, like LeBron's like I don't know what this season like changed or anything, but like they just stopped giving him calls, I guess. Like
yeah,
he should have at least like 15, like 10 to 15 a game, and like he's getting just like whacked on the head and stuff. But like since I guess like they're just like setting a different bar for him because he's like so strong that they just like refs just don't like take it into consideration anymore, which is really annoying because he could definitely be averaging more, and like that costs us games too. So like it's just incredible, bro. Like I can't believe like I'm not like I want to say like I'm surprised, but like I can't be surprised. Like 50 and like twice in a week. Okay, that's like kind of surprising. It's pretty crazy, but like I definitely didn't think he would be like dropping off his like his production in any way this season. Like people are saying like his time is running out, which is true, but like I think like till the day he retires, he's still gonna be like dominant. Like it's just like those once in a generation people, like a Brady esque. Like you just retire like it's crazy. You could play like don't give me that. It's like it's obviously the best like comparison because like he retired at the top of his game, like MVP level. It's like it's gonna be kind of sad to see LeBron retire, knowing that very well he could win MVP the next year he does. So like that is one of the only pluses of this season as like a Lakers fan is just like having him. It's a shame that's like kind of going to waste,
yeah.
sort of say. But I mean, it's just crazy, bro. Just to watch and like the energy like he brings to the whole team. It's like it's so the team is so dependent on him. So like if he doesn't have that energy, then no one does. No one really show up like that. And it's like just to see that it's refreshing. It's not like not to, rather than like him because there's been so many like people saying, "Oh, just sit him, season's over." Like you might as well just not play him at all and all that. So I mean, I'm thankful he's giving this to us at least, showing like he has that energy still and like keeping haters quiet, even though people were saying, "Oh, it's just the Wizards." But he just dropped 56 on the Warriors like a couple of days before, so it doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, it's one happy positive note.
So unfortunate though, like not to be a downer here, but I agree with everything you guys said, obviously, about LeBron and what he's doing at this age and everything. But I'm just saying it's so unfortunate that the Lakers need him to do that to win games at this point of the season. Like since the All-Star break, I think those two 50-point games are the only two wins the Lakers have.
Yeah, yeah.
That game against the
And
Rockets was brutal.
Yeah, that was
this is supposed to be AD's team, but he just can't. Well, the whole drop off from 3-point shooting percentage, that's one thing, and staying healthy is another thing. But this was supposed to be like he's supposed to take over now. Which
well,
like I
that's what
don't
I wanted to say too, right? Because I feel like, bro, if AD didn't mess up his leg again, you know what I mean, and if he was playing the way that he played when he got back, and like LeBron's doing what he's doing right now, obviously probably dropping 50, but he saw still dropping some really good numbers. I think that they'd probably be scratching the door of like the 7-6 seed. I feel like in my opinion, that's just how I feel. Like I think if
That's
AD,
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Like
I actually feel that way because I think, um, bro, I think like just the lack of like obviously the lack of consistency is weird, but you can see areas where like AD would help a lot. You know what I mean? Um, and I mean the same thing with LeBron too. Like I feel like there's still some obviously there's still some plays where he has to take some plays off. You can see he's gassed obviously, and there's like some moments where he's calling for the ball and they don't pass him. I saw that video. There was like that I forgot what game. I think it was the Pelicans game, right? I think it was just like he was calling for the ball, they didn't pass to him, and then I think the Pelicans rebounded it, and then they got a steal, and then LeBron was out open, he was calling for it, they didn't pass to him, and then they bricked like a layup or something, and then went the other way. And you can see he looked so dejected. And then I'm just saying, like I think you add at least AD right now, I feel like they definitely be making a climb a little bit, like a little bit of traction. I think losing AD again just like kind of just ruined any sense of I guess momentum that they had going forward. And it kind of sucks. Like it sucks seeing that, but I mean, like again, like at the end of the day, they're still in that playing race. So I mean, I'm hoping they could, LeBron could, unfortunately, I guess do the most. But I mean, I still want to see what they can, I guess, try to do and see if they can buy some time to get AD back and all of that. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's a very interesting season for the Lakers so far because again, like after the season, like I mean, like how much do you trust AD? Like, what do you do in the off season? Like, you know what I mean? It sucks, but I mean, yeah, I don't
I
know.
was thinking about this too, like in this off season, because there's only there's gonna be another big shakeup again. First of all, like I don't know at least. Yes. I don't know if Vogel will be back.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, like I'm so like 50-50 on him because like his rotations have been very questionable. Like the 4 guard rotation we had at one point, it was Russ, DJ Augustine, Kent Bazemore, and then like who was it? Like Avery Bradley at power forward, and then we had center. It was Carmelo at center. I forgot what team that was against. I think it was against New Orleans, I think. But dude, that was like, and then again, it's like we have one Gabriel on the bench. Like at least try to like like you could give him a shot at some point, which we have, but like his rotations is one thing, but then again, like the personnel like he's been given with, like I don't know how you could blame him too much. Like I felt like he's lost the locker room a good number of times this season. It's like been shaky, but I don't know. Just looking in like for the future, I don't think he's gonna be back. Plus, like the whole roster is gonna be shaken up. But thinking of like the people who I'd want back, it's like obviously LeBron and AD, and I think I don't know what's gonna happen to THT if he's gonna be traded or not. It's like how that market's gonna go, but like for sure, people I want back is like obviously LeBron, AD, and like Austin Reeves. Definitely, I think we're signing him anyway. I think he has like another year at least. And Stanley Johnson and like maybe Malik Monk if whatever goes on with him, because I saw that he definitely wants to play here again, but I think he's definitely gonna be offered more money. So we're gonna see how that works. And then I wouldn't mind Carmelo coming back. It's just like because I think he might take a vet minimum again. So like I definitely think he's worth a vet minimum. So that's a great bargain to be honest. But other than that, I think that's like I named like 5 or 6 people. Like there's gonna definitely be a big change in the off season. Like I'm like really looking forward to it, but like at the same time, like I just the market's kind of like not the strongest, so we gotta like take that into consideration.
That's a great point. And yeah, I mean, I think Pelinka really has to look in the mirror this year and be like, yo, like, what can I do from here on out? Because I think, it's a great point too. Like, Malik Monk, like, I feel like a lot of teams are going to line up and, try to sign him. And I mean, I think he definitely likes being in LA. And I think, he said numerous times that he thinks LeBron's the GOAT. And I think he loves playing with LeBron. But yeah, I think they really got to do like see what they can restructure. And obviously I think Russell's going to opt in, obviously, but whether they keep Frank Vogel or not, I think someone's actually got to sit down, and be like, yo, bro, like, ask him if he can come off the bench, ask him if, there's something else he could do. If not, it might be like it have to be like another John Wall situation where you just tell him to just chill at home, even though that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? But still, like, you know what I mean? Like, it sucks, man, because like, bro, like I said earlier, like, before the season started, like if you can make this work with Russell Westbrook and LeBron, like it would be crazy. But obviously, you need the buy-in from Westbrook, and Westbrook wasn't really known for like a buy-in type guy, but he has been known for making some like adjustments here and there. That's why I'm not like completely giving up on him. But I mean, I don't know. It's like depending on how the rest of the season goes. I mean, I'm not expecting some crazy like push by them. But I still think there's some things they could probably try to salvage. And I think again, I think AD coming back would definitely be a huge start. I think he just got to come back healthy, bro, and just not try to do too much. Honestly, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Well, regardless, there's going to be a lot of change. So
Right.
I don't know how it's going to what's going to happen, but that's confirmed. It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
Frank Vogel's job may be in jeopardy, but you know whose job isn't in jeopardy?
Who?
Greg Popovich.
Ooh,
Just became the NBA's all-time.
What if he gets fired or something?
The NBA's all-time leading for coaching wins in history with that win against the Jazz last night. And I wasn't really watching that game at first because I know like
we're losing.
It was a home game for the Spurs, and they were down by like 15 in the third or something like that. And I was like, oh, they're not going to get it done tonight. It's unfortunate. And then the start of the fourth quarter, I saw they started to make a comeback, so I put the game on, and it was just a really good defensive effort all around from everyone on their team. I think they started running like a smaller lineup that I kind of liked. It was DeJounte, Keldon, the 4, Stud Pirtle at the 5, but then they had Lonnie Walker and Josh Richardson as well. So it was like a mix of offense and defense in there, and a lot of good shooting. And they made their comeback against the Jazz, who were on a hot streak like a few weeks ago, but I think they've lost their last 2 now. But yeah, anyway, Greg Popovich, all-time leading wins in coaching history now. And I thought it was really funny after the game. It had me smiling. It was like they were trying to show Pop with the win. They had like all this music playing in the arena. Everyone was standing ovation for him, and all the media was coming up to try to talk to him, and he was just trying to run away from the media. But then all of his players just kind of hounded him because they weren't trying to let him leave before they celebrated with him. They just started like everyone surrounded him, and they were all just jumping around like all happy, and he was just like, "Get off!" They were trying to leave. It was funny as hell.
Nah, he's got to go home and pray that JD Bickerstaff doesn't take him over this year. But,
so, is he the GOAT coach? Do you think, or is there?
Oh, I've been saying that.
Yeah.
I always thought Greg Popovich was a GOAT coach. I thought he was better than Phil Jackson. I've been saying that. Yeah,
he's always had less than what all the other coaches have had.
Right, exactly. That's the reason. Honestly, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's always had this system that he's trusted in, and he's had all these players that have always bought in. Like all of the players that have played for him have had nothing but great things to say about him. Like he knows how to use everyone. He lets everyone play to their strengths, and everyone on that team buys in, even though he's like a pretty tough coach and all. But after the game, Rudy Gay came up to him. He was only there for like 2 or 3 years, but he was super happy for Popovich. And that says something.
Right, that speaks volumes, honestly. And I think
and he has the respect of all these other players too who haven't played for him. Like, LeBron gave him a shout out on Twitter. A bunch of other players were like showing their congratulations. But yeah, it's just, such a great feat for him to achieve, especially with this team this year.
I mean, Aaron, imagine if Popovich is on the Lakers right now. They gotta do a Doc Rivers trade, like we covered in our episode in the one of our first episodes where we covered crazy trades. But they should trade for Popovich by sending out THT or something.
Oh.
I don't know if the Spurs would accept that.
Imagine if they just like fired him or something like that. I wonder if this would be his last year. I don't think he's ever announced anything yet, but because
I don't know. Because
I don't know, like
he's not doing USA anymore, right? Didn't Steve Kerr take over?
Yeah, I think he's done with that.
Yeah.
No, I made Lucas over.
He's getting up there in age, so I don't know like how much longer he's going to be able, or he's going to want to do this. especially like because like the Spurs aren't really like contending or anything right now. That's another factor.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
also true. It's like, yeah, how long, until the next I guess like superstar comes in or like a leap comes in, you know what I mean? And even then, like probably won't be ready for the finals. So maybe he was trying to see like what he can do next year, now that DeJounte is like, an all-star now officially in the eyes of, most NBA fans and all of that. And like, maybe they can try to get some leverage here and there and sign some people. Maybe he could try to see like, what's the max he can go in the playoffs, just for shits and giggles. But with his age right now, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you retired after this year. It's kind of low key fitting too. It's the 75th anniversary, so it's like he left after that. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. I think.
Do you think there's any coaches that can get anywhere close to the amount of wins that he's gotten in his career?
Yeah, JB Blicky stuff.
I thought I saw Doc Rivers like 10th on the list, maybe or something like that, close. So maybe I don't know if Doc Rivers is that old either. I don't know how old he is.
Terribly old, but I don't know. I mean, like because we also got to talk about how the Spurs were like he was coaching a dynasty. You know what I mean? From like essentially the late 90s till like 2014, 2015, and even still like the Spurs were good up until like 2018, 2019, 20. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it depends if Harden can get younger somehow, like super soldier serum or something like that, and then they can try to make a dynasty off of that, and then maybe like a 1-year rental of Colin Sexton where we get Embiid or something. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it's
1-year rental.
But I guess moving on. I guess let's talk about Jason Tatum real quick. So the Celtics, we talked about it in the last podcast too. I think the episode before that, they kind of they flipped the script. They're kind of rediscovering themselves, even though again, like guys like Jaylen Brown has been out, and all of that. But I think again, overall, I think the team is kind of brought in, and they kind of just you sort of realize, all right, let's take it serious, and they unfortunately leapfrogged us in the standings, and I guess they've been trending upward over the course of last couple of weeks, and the main proprietor of that success has definitely been Jason Tatum, and just things he's been doing on the court. So he's been averaging 37-5 since January, and I think he's just doing the normal Jason Tatum things. I think earlier in the year he was really inconsistent. He'd have games of like 30 or 35, and the next game he'd come back and probably drop like 25 on like 8 of 25 shooting or something like that. You know what I mean? So I think him finding his groove again has definitely been very important for them and for him in general, for sure. And I think he's propelled the Celtics to 1.5 games back from the second seed. So definitely a huge comeback for the Celtics. Again, like I hate to see it as a Celtics hater, but again, just major props for Jason Tatum because he's always been just flat out baller. You know what I mean? He's been doing this thing for a while now, and just major props. And once Jaylen Brown gets back, hopefully they'll hopefully he can come back and kind of regain his groove, and it won't take away too much from Tatum. And man, I think whether question or not, has he reached superstar criteria? Yeah. I would say so. I mean, I don't think that's too much of a hot take. But is he better than Jaylen Brown? No, he's not.
That's a joke.
Again, that was a viable. I feel like that's a viable argument you could have made earlier in the year. All right, I think Jaylen Brown made a leap. If he was healthy right now, I think Loki would have been a little bit of a competition. But obviously, I think JT is obviously still better.
Yeah, Tatum for the past few months is definitely like kind of taking that. He's kind of taking this massive leap, and I think a huge part of that is like kind of figuring out a much better offensive scheme as a whole, as a team. That they're moving the ball a lot more than they were now. The offense has become a lot less predictable with him and Brown just taking turns late in games. The beginning of the season, the whole narrative was like they have a big lead, and you never think it's safe because they break down in the fourth quarter. Both Tatum and Brown, they just kind of resort to ISO ball, late in games, and teams, try to capitalize on that to make comebacks. Kind of like what we're talking about with the Knicks right now. But yeah, Tatum, I would probably put him in that superstar range as well right now, for sure. And I think he's only going to get better. He's made huge strides as a playmaker. His defense is really good. He's like defending 1 through 4 with no problem at all. I just really love what I've seen from him. I've been tuned into like almost every Celtics game recently. And Celtics and Pistons have played like 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and every single one has been close. It's been pretty crazy.
Speaking of the Pistons, have been playing better recently too. I'm like, all right.
Shout out to Cade as well.
Yeah, shout out to Cade.
I remember when people were calling him a bust in the first month because he wasn't producing.
No, like the Cade thing, honestly, I knew he was going to settle, but then like, I mean, I don't want to, again, not a quick tangent, but Jalen Green, I'm just happy he's been balling out too because
Him too.
I got so sick and tired of all the bust comments on Twitter and all that.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, yeah, it's like, bro, just shut up for 1 second. Just, you know what I mean? Like, he is literally a rookie. You know what I mean? Like, just let him. Like, just like I just like it's just every single time on Twitter, bro. Like, the amount of times I just wanted to respond and to be like, yo, just shut up. Just do me a favor and just shut up, please. Just shut up. Like, it's not even just for Jalen Green. It's for a bunch of players. Like now, like, you know what I mean? I mean, Isaac Okoro is one of them, but I'm just saying in general, bro. Like, people just gotta like pump their brakes, bro. Like, no one's gonna take you seriously. You're not some sort of basketball savant for saying, "Oh yeah, dude's a bust." You know what I mean? Just please, just shut up and just at least just try to parse out like what the issue is and try to focus on the good. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I think as being like an NBA fan, I think that's like just one of the more like frustrating things is how quickly people are like, "Oh, he's a bust, he's terrible." Just seeing stuff like that is it's just very annoying. I mean, it might be just more amplified because of like social media and all that now. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but whatever. That's a conversation. But I mean, anyway, getting back to it, my fault. But yeah, my fault. Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember the beginning of the season towards that, like Boston was, like they were I think they were pretty far down the standings too and stuff like that. They had a rocky start and everyone was like questioning them. But it's props to them. Like Chrissy said, it's pretty unfortunate because it's Boston and we are Celtics haters, but
I'm not.
like just the fact that
that's your division rival, Steve. What are you talking about?
It is my division rival, but I don't hate any team.
That's crazy.
See, I couldn't do that, bro. Even like any sport, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
To be like, yeah, I don't like these guys, bro.
I don't care how good they are. I would like. I hate the Suns. Like, I could never. Like, they're good. Obviously, they're like really great. Like, I can appreciate like they play like great, but like I don't know, bro. I can never support them. I don't care. Like, it's kind of sad that Chris Paul's on this like Suns. Like, obviously, you want to see him win a ring, but like,
no, I don't.
If he's on the Suns, then it's too bad. But other than that, like on the Boston thing, like just like it's kind of really nice to see how like everyone like stay on the ship and bought in, and with Ime Udoka, yeah, but it's yeah.
People were calling for his head like the first half of the season. Like, dude, he's a first year coach. Like, calm down.
Yeah, like
he's been around really good teams too. It's like just give him a chance.
Yeah, like people, dude. That's one thing. People like give up on others so fast. Like it's insane. But like it's nice to see how like they all bought in and now like they're reaping the benefits of like actually sticking together as a team, and it's not like all hero ball
shots like they were. Remember?
Huh? What do you say?
Remember they were throwing shots at each other like in the post.
Oh yeah. Marcus Smart called like an all players meeting at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and one of the like interviews he was saying like, yeah, there's only like there's like some guys on this team that like only try to like chuck everything up or something like that, and like, you know what I mean? I forgot what the direct quote was, but
this might be like one of the best like mid-season turnarounds I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So
because they were below 500 earlier in the year, like 10th seed, like them and the Hawks were like neck and neck for a while.
Right. Yeah, and now what is it? They're
fifth right now. Back. They're only 2.5 back from second.
1.5, yeah.
Oh, 1.5.
It's really, yeah. So it's a really great turnaround. They're heating up at the right time, which is now. So like about a month before the playoffs. So like they just got to keep par right now. Like they just got to keep going. But it's it's really refreshing to see how like they've actually just like saved their course and not like completely like make the situation worse as it was like in the beginning of the season.
No, that's facts. Actually, two things I wanted to ask you guys, or one thing I wanted to ask. Um, so how does a half a game work? Is that like you win a game and then you win the halftime? You're leading at halftime?
What? No, half is a what? Are you serious?
No, I'm playing. I'm just kidding. I'm telling halftime.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm saying that correlates with your like, I guess like the loss and stuff, right? Because I never understood like
It was
Yeah,
just like some
loss.
teams played one more or one less game than other teams.
oh, is that
Yeah,
what
it's
it is?
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like losses too, I think.
I mean, yeah, I was confused. But
Yeah.
another quick tangent I want to talk about. Speaking of Atlanta, because I feel like there was like that 2 week, 3 week stretch where they looked like they were trying to turn it around, but I mean they're kind of back to their inconsistent ways, and they're still what 9 seed, right? 10 seed?
Right now they're 10th, I believe.
10th, right? Yeah, I know they're like in that range.
Them and Charlotte are like, I think they might be tied for ninth or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, bro. But like, yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see because I thought they were going to start to turn around, so kind of flip the page. Honestly, I thought they were going to flip the script, before Boston did. That's what I thought. You know what I mean? But just seeing them continue to kind of play a little bit more inconsistent is kind of weird. Because bro, like again, I'm not gonna call myself a prophet, but I'm just saying, the podcast we did with Rich, like I did see like a weird like struggle period for them, in the season, but I didn't think it was gonna like last this long. You know what I mean?
Right.
I thought it's gonna be like, all right, at worst, All-Star break, and then like Trey's gonna, I guess do his thing, and then the guys they signed last year would kind of find that playoff groove again, and they started to get more competitive, and Clint could wake up from whatever he's in right now. Yeah, but I mean it sucks to see honestly, but I mean I guess the way it is right now they're probably a playing team, and depending what their matchup's going to be, it's going to be interesting. But I just want to talk about that real quick. Because like there was like that 2 week stretch where there was like, all right, maybe they're getting their mojo back, but now it's more like, all right, never mind. They kind of lost a little bit. They
It's
lost.
so weird because like when you're watching the games and like if you look at the box scores, like all their guys are playing well. Like I've watched a lot of Hawks the last like couple weeks actually, just because like conveniently they've been on when other games aren't. But Trey's always going to do his thing. He's still playing really well offensively, and then Bogdan Bogdanovic has actually played really good since the All-Star break. He's been doing his thing as like a secondary playmaker, and he's hitting his shots. DeAndre Hunter's been like clamping the other team's best player a lot of the games they've been in, but like they've been up big some games, and then all of a sudden I'll look away for a few seconds to watch another game, and then I'll look back and they're like it's like a tie game. And I'm like, dude, what is happening? Like they just have these lapses during the games where they just break down defensively. Like I don't know if it's all on Capella, but I feel like that's a big part of it because he was kind of doing his thing last year as like a really good paint protector. Like just anytime someone would get past one of the bad like perimeter defenders, he would just be right there to clean it up. But this year, it's not been a lot of that. I feel like he's getting killed in the pick and roll a lot more than he did before too. It's just I don't know. It's just weird. Just like 1 year, that's such a huge drop off.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. It's just like, bro, it's like at the very least, like obviously we know how much of a crazy force he is on rebounding. Like at least do that. Try to replicate that. I feel like it hasn't been the same really. I feel like he's getting beat to the spots, and he's getting his box outs haven't been as good. And like you said, like I remember you saying last year, it's like yeah, he has like that discount, I guess like Gobert type role, and it's like this year he's just there. You know what I mean? Like you
Like
can't
I know
really,
he had the injury at the beginning of the season, but I feel like I feel like it kind of started before then too a little bit.
right. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, the Hawks.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm trying to look at their remaining schedule, like because they are in the playing slots right now. Let's see, upcoming week they have Indiana, Portland, Charlotte, Memphis, and then New Orleans, which isn't too bad.
I feel like
I
that's
looking
definitely
at
like
their
a little stretch where they could try to find a groove.
Yeah, after that it's New York, Detroit, and then like I'd say like the biggest teams or the best teams they really have to worry about is Golden State, and then they have Brooklyn, Cleveland, Toronto, Miami. Other than that, like those all seem like winnable games. like a big stretch of them. So like,
That Minnesota game might be tough too. I mean, we'll talk
Mhm.
about them later. I think I don't know if we're talking about them next, but no, that's a good point though. Wait, what's their strength of schedule? Like, is there a ranking for that?
I can
There
actually
is.
look
I
at
can
that.
try to find it.
Strength of schedule. So number one is the Lakers. Of course, it is. Uh, we're talking about who? Atlanta. Oh, they're 29th, so they're
Okay.
second easiest.
Yeah, so hopefully they could, pull at Boston and try to, recapture something. I know Rich is down tremendous, down ostentatiously, down
Yeah,
artistic, down.
artistically.
I feel like
Uh,
they're definitely a lot for the play in at the very least.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
if they fall out of that, I don't
that's
know,
a.
bro. I don't know. Like,
That's a
you
I
can't have.
still
I
think.
think
I
they. I
still
think
think like. Yeah, yeah. You
I,
can go.
I definitely have them over Charlotte still probably, and
Yeah.
I feel like them in Toronto. I feel like they could give Toronto a run for their money if they're like playing their best.
Yeah, but at the same time, for our sake, I hope Toronto makes. I feel like, bro, I'm telling you right now, if we play Toronto first round, we can guarantee get past them. I'm just saying. I feel like we guarantee we get past them. Like, I'm just saying for that. Everyone else, probably not.
Well,
Miami.
as it stands right now, if the playoffs were to start today, it would be Cavs versus Sixers. Well, that's pretty
Oh, hey.
interesting. That's pretty interesting. I just
We
noticed.
just have our
Go,
tickets
easy
right
sweep.
now. We're copping our tickets right. Oh, and the Cavs favorite? Yeah, no, that's crazy.
It'd be Cavs, Sixers, Bulls, Celtics, Bucks. Assuming that's Nets 8th seed and Raptors 7th seed, it'd be Bucks, Raptors, and Heat, Nets.
Heat
Interesting.
Nets would be sexy. Bucks Raptors would be interesting. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to end. I mean, we all know it's.
Every first round series in the East is going to be really good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no matter who makes it either.
Bro, I'm just looking.
Yeah.
I'm just hyped because the last time I saw like playoff banners go up, that was like what like. I remember the first time seeing the banners go up was like 8th grade or whatever. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But it's like LeBron, like a bunch of LeBron pictures and all that. I was like, all right, whatever. But seeing the banners this year with like our guy, bro, like, that's gonna be tough.
Wait, do they have that really? Playoff banners?
Yeah, they have it outside like the arena and stuff. I remember, like, at least they did that for like LeBron years. I'm assuming they're gonna do it again for this year.
Hmm.
I mean, hopefully Sherwin Williams hooks us up again, like a Darius Garland picture or something like that. But I mean, again, like I said, this year's kind of Mickey Mouse because we don't have Sexcoat and injured Levert and injured Rubio, so whatever ratio.
I guess while we're still talking about the East, Christy, you had something you wanted to go off your chest about the Heat.
Oh yeah, I mean, all right. So basically, what I want to say with the Heat is, all right. Look, obviously, yes, there's still obviously conference finals caliber player. I mean, caliber player, caliber team. If they play it right, they probably make it to the finals. But I'm just saying, right? At least against us, right? Because based on what I saw yesterday. Okay, well, all right. So let me do a quick forward. I feel like because it was us and it's like low-key similar to Milwaukee, or like the way we play is like low-key similar to Milwaukee, like lengthwise and all of that, and the disruptiveness factor. I think Milwaukee can easily clear Miami. That's me, in my opinion, right? But what I'm saying with yesterday is like when we were playing, that game versus Miami yesterday. Obviously, yeah, we lost, right? We lost by a lot. But the main thing is like we didn't even have Jarrett yesterday, and we were disrupting a lot of things we were trying to do on offense, right? Like we were like disrupting a lot of things that I remember Duncan was trying to do. It's funny, every single time Duncan plays us, like he struggles. That's one thing, right? Like he's never getting a shot off. Like we're always beating him on the off ball curl screens, all of that, right? We're clogging up their passing lanes. I think Miami turned it over like 6 times or whatever. I think yeah, 6 times in the first, with like 2 minutes left or something like that. Like we were disrupting a lot of things they wanted to do. We were clamping them up pretty easily. Again, that's with no Jarrett, with Evan playing the 5, which is still not a strong suit. Lowry's Arthur, he's guarding Jimmy on the ball, and he was actually doing a really good job on Jimmy, while he was guarding him on the ball, and they had to run plays to get Lowry off him, which I never thought I'd be saying that, but they had Darius switch on him, right? I'm just saying that it's just stuff like that. And then you also had I thought Isaac played pretty good defense on Tyler yesterday, but Tyler still got his shots off. But usually, Isaac plays pretty good on him. I think just in terms of the fact that without half our guys like playing, right? We still did a pretty good job of containing them and stopping what they were doing. I thought we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. And we just played some like stupid turnovers and all of that. And I thought, like, I'm just watching the game. And I'm like, bro, I'm just really not scared by this Miami team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, like they got some scared players, but I'm just not really scared by them, right? And I think it's like I said earlier, it's like I'm gonna stop apply the same logic to the Milwaukee teams. I feel like when the Milwaukee's locked in, we all know how disruptive they can get on defense, right? Like how good they are in disrupting passing lanes, how good they are, avoiding pin down screens and kind of running guys off and getting guys uncomfortable, and especially with Jimmy Butler's like offensive the slippage. You could definitely kind of exploit stuff like that, right? And again, I'm just saying, like, especially considering versus us, like if we play a series against them, obviously, yeah, they're gonna win, right? I'm just saying it's not going to be an easy 4-0 sweep. It's not going to be like 20 point deficits every game. And I feel like, like there's just like things I saw about that Miami team that I feel like a team like us and Milwaukee could exploit. But I feel like, I feel like if a Philly would, watch film on them or if Brooklyn watched film on them and play the defense like they did, in the Philly game, bro, I think Miami, like they have a lot of exploitable weaknesses. And I'm just saying, like people haven't really been highlighting it is what my issue is. Like, obviously, yeah, there's still a finals team. I feel like they could obviously make the finals. Like, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying I'm not scared of them. As I would say, like I've seen all the hype and all the terror, I would say, like surrounding them. I feel it's more like, oh my God, like Bam's gonna switch 1 to 5, blah, blah, blah. Like Jimmy's gonna disrupt everything. Yeah, I'm not denying that, but at the same time, like, bro, I just see a lot of things that you can kind of disrupt, Miami. That's me. That's just me. That's how I feel. Like, I'm just not scared of them is what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? But can they make the finals? Yeah. I'm not gonna take that away from them. I still love Jimmy, you know what I mean? I still love what they have, but I'm just saying, like, people are just like, oh my gosh, Miami, dude, so scary, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's just like they're like, I think besides the Suns, of course, the Suns when they were fully healthy, they were like the only two teams in the league who were like top 7 in both offense and defense in the league. And there's some times where I've noticed when I'm watching the Heat where their offense just like kind of collapses against like certain defenses, like you said, like Cleveland could play them really well in certain matchups, as well as Milwaukee. And I feel like on defense, Miami, I feel like one weakness they have is like, although Bam is a really versatile defender, like he's not the biggest of guys like at the center position. So if you have a guy like Giannis or like a guy like Jarrett who can roll to the rim and try to get around him for like some putbacks or some lobs from Darius, like you can definitely exploit that in some matchups. But the thing is, like, they have so many guys they can just throw at you defensively where they're not going to get tired. They have all these guys on the bench who can come in. If they're playing an offense a certain way and it's not working out for them, they can play so many different ways, especially with Vo back now. And he's looking pretty good in those few games he's played,
right,
making shots and playing defense, rolling. He had a few like really good athletic finishes too. So I'm glad to see that from him. But yeah, like you said, Duncan hasn't been nearly as good as he has in the past this season. But I feel like in the playoffs, Jimmy is going to take his game to the next level where, I feel like this season he's dealt with injuries and a lot of illnesses. So he's not really going as hard offensively as he has in the past. Like, he's still putting up like over 20 points and, getting guys open. But we saw in the playoffs in 2020, especially when they made the finals, that, he could take over and really like when he's locked in, he's going to do his thing. So I feel like he's going to take that next step up in the playoffs, and that'll open up more opportunities for a guy like Duncan to have more space. Because they're just expecting it now. Like they've seen him and Bam two-man game. They kind of know how to counter it now better than they did before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still feel like Miami's at least like a top 3 contender in the East this year, with Milwaukee and Philly and Brooklyn. I feel like they're all like in the same realm right now.
Yeah, I don't hate that take. I don't hate that.
Also,
take.
The addition of like Lowry too. Like they made the finals in 2020, and now they also have like Lowry too. Like it's like in the playoffs, especially. I feel like that'll be crucial and like highlighted as well. And they also have a lot of like like the role players who do the dirty work and stuff like that, like PJ Tucker and everyone. So I feel like that'll go a long way.
I love what they're doing with PJ Tucker this year. Like everyone just kind of saw him as like a guy you can throw on anybody on defense and then like just have him stand in the corner on offense. But they're running a lot of like actions for him on offense too now, where like he's setting screens and finding cutters on the pass in the post and everything like that. He's getting some like pretty open like post looks from like him and Duncan have been pretty good together too. I've noticed the past few games finding each other off of like different screen actions. But
and
yeah,
Hero
like
off the bench.
Tyler Hero has been amazing. Definitely, I feel like he has the 6 man of the year locked up. But what's it called? What was I just about to say? Oh yeah, Kyle Lowry. Like, although he's not like doing what he's done in the past, like scoring the ball, but you could just see on the court like his leadership on both sides, just like telling guys where they need to be and getting guys the ball. Dude, when he inbounds the ball, like just he'll get the ball off an inbound, and then if there's someone cutting to the paint, he'll just throw it right where it needs to be, like on a fast break. I feel like he's really good in that situation too. Like Kyle Lowry just adds another element to their offense that they didn't have in the past.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that too because I feel like I think people are probably expecting a little bit more like stats wise, you know what I mean? But you can definitely see like the influence he has on the court, when he's out there. Yesterday got into a bit like a foul trouble and like that kind of like messed up his mojo a little bit yesterday. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting what he could do in the playoffs too. Also, one thing I wanted to say too, because I didn't even know about this until I was watching the broadcast yesterday. I was watching the Heat broadcast, and Miami's rebounding recently has been pretty bad. And I think it's kind of weird because I think it just looks like I mean, especially watching the game yesterday, it was literally like PJ Tucker was the only one trying on the boards. You know what I mean? And then
He had like 14 the other day.
yeah, so, yeah, right. And like I feel like that's just him. And then like Bam, not really. And then like Dwayne Dedman's occasionally trying to do it, but then half the time he's trying to box out, but then he gets called for a loose ball foul and all that. And I feel like that's something they got to control too, especially again in the playoffs where every possession matters. Hopefully, they can kind of address that going into the postseason. But we're not supposed to be talking about Miami right now. So let's talk about another team whose city starts with an M, which is Minnesota. What a transition!
What a transition!
Wow.
I don't know how I do it, honestly. First, I got to do better, yeah, I think the Wolves, dude, like they've been crazy. What are they on a 7-game win streak or something like that? They lost last
night. They just lost to Orlando last night.
Yeah. But they're playing Miami tonight. Actually, I think it's pretty funny. But but what's it called? I think
they're like 7-2 since the break. I think.
Yeah, that's insane. You know what I mean?
And they have one of the best point differentials since then too.
Yeah, exactly. They have a 12.6 point differential. And they have the second best offense, the fourth best defense, which I didn't know about the defense part, but other offense have been crazy. But yeah, dude. I mean, major props to I guess Chris Finch and Cat and D'Lo and again, I think like Edwards is definitely up for discussion because I think last year people started to write him off. We called Anthony Edwards Aaron Joseph Jr. because he was like, yeah, I like football more. I think at the start of the draft, I think. But I think like the leap that he's taken this year, his 3-point shooting is insane. His footwork, he's just worked on his bag. You can see it. You know what I mean? Like he improved a lot, and especially on defense too. And I think just overall, it looks like he grew a couple inches over the summer as well. So, dude, like again, major props to the Wolves because I think we all saw the Jimmy Butler, the team, and then we were like, okay, no, that's great. But then he left immediately after, and then we were like, all right, they're back to being mid, and just being overall just ass. You know what I mean? But now they kind of, I guess regaining footing and they're making a push now, and then they're actually a team that's commanding a lot of respect. Their 5-man lineup I think has been like a pretty high like in terms of all-time ratings I think, and again like yeah second in offense right now. So it's like again major props to the Wolves, and I think just seeing something like that is just very impressive to see. Cat, he's from New Jersey, so we don't like that, but again props for him to holding it down. And again just again I think. Last year, we were criticizing the whole, like, the D'Lo trade. We're like, oh, they're just trying to, like, team up because they're friends, but they're not going to do anything for the team. But, again, the fact they made it work and they've brought, everything in. And, you got guys like, Jerry Vanderbilt and, like Noel and, again, even guys like Naz Reid off the bench is, like, serviceable, center minutes. Like, again, just major props. And I'm happy, I guess, that, the Timberwolves are doing what they're doing.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, too, lately with Towns is that, earlier in the season, although they were still playing really well as a team, but lately, on offense, I feel like he's been attacking the paint a lot more and using his size to his advantage because he definitely has the strength and the skill to dominate in the post and to drive on other bigger centers to draw contact. And I feel like definitely lately he's been doing that a lot more. Like he's taking less threes, he's still making them at a good clip, but he's been using his other skills to his advantage now. And I think part of that is because Edwards has been out. I feel like they were trying to have Towns spot up a lot more to give Edwards room to drive, especially with Vanderbilt out there with them for the defense, and he doesn't really space the ball much.
Not much.
But Towns has been really good lately. Edwards just came back, and they've still been winning. So, I feel like they're starting to figure everything out and put their team together. Patrick Beverly has been really good for them too. Like D'Angelo Russell has said that he owes a lot of like his success this year to Patrick Beverly because he's like, kind of showing him what to do on the defensive end. You can definitely tell D'Lo has become a much smarter player on both ends this year too. Like I've kind of my opinion on him has kind of changed like dramatically this year.
Yeah, no,
I'm so glad.
Yeah,
I remember some people writing him off, especially after the whole like just going back to like the young Lakers days, and he's on the Nets, and then he came to Minnesota, like in the beginning at least. Like obviously like some of it was like warranted, like he wasn't showing his full potential, but now it's pretty nice to see that he's living up to the hype finally.
Yeah, and yeah.
One criticism I have though is that, like I was saying before, like how they had Towns spotting up, like a lot of times this season, him and Edwards, they've both been having spectacular seasons, but they never seem to go off at the same time. I feel like they kind of try to, for the playoffs at least, if they want to find some success there, they got to like figure out a way to get those two to play better together when they're on the court. Because I don't know, there would be some games where like Edwards has 40 and then Towns has like 18 or something like that, and then there'll be other games where Towns has like 35 and Edwards has like 15. I don't know. I feel like they just never like simultaneously have really good games. So I feel like they got to try to figure out a way to get them both going at the same time in the same lineups.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, but at the same time, bro, seeing these offensive numbers, like you gotta wonder, like, yo, like you know what I mean. I guess they could probably do something right. I guess you know what I mean. But yeah, nah, I think the Wolves. I think was it last episode or the episode before that? Well, I think it was the episode before that. We were saying like, oh, what team's going to take that leap in the second half, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure I picked the Wolves, right? If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I'm not looking back at the tape, but yeah, man, I'm just happy that my predictions come to fruition. But I mean, at the same time, it's not really going not like a crazy take. I think you can kind of see that coming too. But I guess
happy for their fans though.
Yeah, oh yeah, happy for the fans for sure, bro. Imagine waking up in like -10-degree weather and then your basketball team's ass. You know what I mean?
And then having to watch the Vikings.
Oh, whoa, this is not the fourth down converters, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are we doing? All right. Anyway.
I was just trying to get Aaron woken up a little bit.
Oh, all right, Aaron. Hopefully you're with us now. Are you awake?
Oh yeah. Yes, I am. I've been listening.
But I guess while we're talking about that episode where we talked about what team's gonna make that leap, I believe we also talked about the Sacramento Kings in that episode, and that is a take that I did miss on. Because unfortunately, however, because in the 12 games that they have, the 12 games they played after acquiring Sabonis, the Kings are 4-8, and obviously that's not the result that they wanted to see. That was obviously a win now move to kind of pair him with De'Aaron Fox, and listen, okay, I've said this before, right? I'm just saying you could have gotten Domantas without giving up Tyrese, right? That's what I said before, right? But it happened the way it did, right? So if we're talking about the roster as it is right now and being like, obviously, like did they mess up? No, right? And here's why I think this is because you could see like what they're trying to do, right? You could see some semblance of like at least like a viable offense, I guess. You could see like they're not like, so it's like, okay, so if Sacramento went out and did that trade, and then they also traded for like like a bunch of other filler pieces, like a Bogdanovich back, or you know what I mean, something like that. They did a couple of like crazy moves to kind of fill up the rest of the spots, and then they're still struggling. Like, all right, fine, yeah, all right, like it might be a failure, right? But I feel like what they wanted to see with this trade was like, all right, look, we have De'Aaron, we have Sabonis, we have guys off the bench like what's his face, like Mitchell, right? Um, we have the Me Too movement. we have Harrison Barnes, who's been playing pretty good with the Kings. It's like, all right, I felt they just wanted to evaluate where they were at. Obviously, they wanted to make more of a push, but I'm not going to say it's a complete failure because I feel like they still have time in the offseason to kind of be like, all right, this is what we got to address. Even watching that Kings Denver game, it's just like, all right, like down the stretch, it's just like I feel like coaching could definitely about to be a little better. I like Alvin Gentry, but I feel like there's like definitely some plays where I feel like they've just been milking the shot clock a little bit too much. They didn't have Sabonis that game, so obviously who knows if they would have won. But I think it's just like a matter of like an evaluation period for them because I think they didn't really want. They knew they were not going to make the playoffs at all in general, right? I think they didn't expect that for sure. But I think it's more so like, all right, like where do we stand right now? What can we address in the off season, and then like let's just see if we can make some sort of like Mickey Mouse playoff push or not play-in push, and see what we can do. You know what I mean? That's a lot I feel. But I'm not going to say it's a complete failure of an experiment. I still have some sort of like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to give up. Like even though again, you could have gotten Sabonis in a different way, but I'm not going to be like, yo, it's not like terrible. I think they shouldn't. They're not going to give up. Obviously, they're not. But I'm just saying they shouldn't have any cause for being like, oh, like, all right, you know what, we messed up. It's time to blow it up. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
I also don't think it's a complete failure yet, as of right now. Like, I know when the trade first happened, I was extremely disappointed with them, and I still think they should have kept Tyrese Halliburton, especially after like the rest of the league and front offices were all like shocked by it, and they didn't even know he was available. Apparently, like they probably could have gotten more for him if they wanted to.
Exactly.
But Sabonis has definitely the offense is a lot more efficient than it was before. He's definitely maximized De'Aaron Fox, who was having a down season for his standards before Sabonis came in. Fox is getting to the rim with a lot more ease than he was earlier. And even though there's not like there's more spacing than there was before, they're still not hitting a lot of threes, but they're just hitting more. They're just hitting them at a better clip than they were, like I said in the last episode, I think. But yeah, like the offense is there, but it's just the defense they need. Like you said, like I like Gentry as a coach. He's had some success in the past, especially with those Pelicans teams. But he's always been like a more offensive minded coach. Like he brings the best out of an offense. He's really good at like establishing a pace. I feel like, especially that like Drew, like he made the best out of like a team with Julius Randle and Anthony Davis in the front court.
Right.
Like that was weird. That was a weird fit, but he made it work. So
that's like a legend front court. Right there.
So I feel like maybe not even like firing Gentry, like maybe still keeping him there, but like just getting like a more defensive minded staff around him or something like that. Like that, I don't know. This team definitely needs like some defensive fundamentals, like in just put in their heads. Like they just had the past however many years, they've always been one of the bottom defenses. So I feel like that's definitely got to be a focus for the front office.
I feel like a Nance type acquisition would be nice for them if he can stay healthy, obviously. But I feel like he would be pretty nice for this team. Like someone like him, Vanderbilt or something like that. You know what I mean? But
for sure, they just need something down low. Like they don't have any interior defense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what was the best day? Like I know with the way Tyrese is playing in Indiana, I know they're not winning games. Of course, that's not really what they're trying to do anyway. But with the way Tyrese has looked in Indiana, he's looking spectacular there. So it's like I know it doesn't look good for the Kings, and I still think that they could have gone about the trade in a different way. But I could see why they did it at the same time. And I think that, going forward, especially next season, they're going to have like, there's a lot of pretty good, like role player free agents this offseason. There's not really many big names. So I feel like they could have a better chance to splash on some of them this offseason and build a more competent team around Fox and Sabonis to let them have a chance next year.
I feel like a Holiday Mitchell is like a great way to start it off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like
Davion's actually looked pretty good recently too.
Exactly. Right. And what were you about to say? About to call them frauds or something?
Oh, huh?
About to call the Kings of frauds?
Oh no, I mean I'm happy that they're struggling, me personally, but don't question it. It's just always been a thing. But like yeah, like I agree. It's like it's too early to like actually like obviously if you look at it right now, you would say if you were asked if it is right now, was it a failure or was it a success? You would say it's a failure, but not total failure because it's still only 12 games and you still have like at least next year, like in this offseason to see what they do.
Right.
Like if they can actually like build a better roster all around. Like as for this year, like to make a play-in push, like dude, I was looking at their next 5 games and it might be like the worst 5 game stretch like you could actually imagine. It's Utah, Chicago, Milwaukee, Boston, Phoenix.
Oh,
That is the worst 5 game
Damn.
stretch like you could possibly have. So I mean,
Do they have
I
their
didn't
pick this
expect
year?
them. Yeah, they have
Right? Yeah.
they're projected to have number 6 right now. Looking
Okay.
at it,
All right. Good. Good. I was about to
and they're
say.
projected to take a shooting guard, which I don't make any sense. But
Interesting.
yeah,
I
Yeah,
still got to look into draft prospects.
I do.
I haven't done too much this year so far.
we can look. Yeah, like I just know that
Buffalo.
the number 1 was like Chet Holmgren
Yeah.
from
A lot of people have
Gonzaga.
Jabari Smith number 1 right now from Auburn.
Right now, I'm looking at it.
He's one guy I actually did watch. I saw
looking at
his
it.
game the other day. He's looked really good.
I'm looking at it. It's kind of interesting. Unless Christian Wood is somehow moved to power forward, they have Chet Holmgren going number 1 to the Rockets.
Is
Which
he a center?
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
Holmgren, yeah,
I think it's
and then Jabari Smith.
power forward, small forward type boy or something.
Yeah.
He's like
So-
a really skilled center. Like he's pretty he's not like lanky, but like he doesn't really have too much muscle, similar to like Mobley, I guess, in that sense. But
That's
I don't know.
pretty.
I feel like he's kind of similar to Mobley coming out of college.
It's pretty funny because I'm looking at this like there's a mock draft here, and this mock draft has the Nuggets taking Nikola Jovic too.
Jovic.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic. But yeah, I mean, we could definitely like this is like an off-season topic or like
Yeah.
close to that, but like
Especially with
interesting.
March Madness coming too. That's why I watch my most college basketball.
yeah,
Let's go Auburn.
but
baby. No, I was kidding.
Auburn,
I just said it for
I gotta
Zion.
see like yeah, I gotta.
They're projected to be a top seed this year. I don't know if they're number 1, but I think they're like top 2 or 3.
I don't really know. I know like the tops, like some top seeds are like Baylor and like stuff like that. I don't really know too much else, but like I know like it's gonna be pretty crazy. Obviously, March Madness is always crazy, but
Mhm.
Where's
kind of see
Drexel?
how it is. Good question.
I don't know if they're anywhere this year.
I'm just saying, if I
Yeah.
walk on next fall, it's gonna be over.
Well, I mean, we'll see how Temple is. I don't think they'll actually. I think they're in like in some small tournament. I don't know what it is, but it said that's I think that's in Madison Square Garden again.
Oh, really?
So I think, yeah,
Oh, so
I
we
think
there?
so. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Like that Barclays Center game that we're supposed to go to. Like
Or
two-
yeah. I think it's over there somewhere. There's some small tournament with like big teams, but like I don't know where it is.
That's right. I was about to say it's the Mickey Mouse tournament or something like that, but never mind.
Yeah.
I guess for our final
Yeah.
topic of the day, moving on to one team that did capitalize on their 2 draft picks in the first round last year.
Hold on. No, see, that's not a good enough transition. You got to say the team that's also wears blue and golden, like Drexel. Golden State. There you go.
Oh yeah.
The Golden State Warriors, who I think they're 3-7 in their last 10. You know, they've been struggling a bit recently for sure.
I'm here for this Warriors downfall.
But, you know, they haven't had Draymond for the past month. He's supposed to be back on Monday, I think. But especially in this recent stretch, Wiggins has been pretty atrocious offensively. He's had the looks, but he just hasn't been hitting the threes, or they haven't really been giving him the ball too much to do his own thing either. So like he's been kind of just out there on offense. Like he's still doing his thing defensively, I've noticed, but he's at like 43% true shooting since the All-Star break, which is atrocious. Jordan Poole has looked really good though recently. He's putting up 19 on 53, 47, 94 splits. I actually just picked him up in fantasy a couple days ago, and he's been doing pretty good for me this last week.
Wait,
even though I'm
our
probably not
league?
gonna make the playoffs. But
Our league?
but yeah, they've been on like kind
I
of
think so.
they've been on a bad run recently. I think Memphis just passed them. They're half a game ahead of them now for the 2 seed. But Steph's been playing a lot better. Like he had that one stretch where he was just like he was missing it. Like they weren't really losing a lot of those games, but you could tell that something was off with him. But I feel like since the break, he's been kind of finding his form again. He's been looking pretty good, but I feel like Draymond's just like that glue guy for them, like obviously, but just I don't know. Everyone else is responsible for so much more than they're used to. I've really loved how Kevon Looney's played for them though. He's playing a lot of minutes. He looks like an old man out there, even though he's like 26 or something like that. But yeah, he's playing a lot of minutes, a lot more minutes than he's used to. But he's been doing a good job. He played really good defense on Jokic that game the other night.
I was gonna say that, dude. He played great down the stretch on Jokic. Obviously, I think Jokic's a little bit tired from the game before, but he played, bro. He was shutting down Jokic on what he was trying to do, bro. You were right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I like what a lot of their guys are doing, but they just haven't really been able to put it together. Clay's also been kind of since returning, he's looked really rusty. Like I've noticed that some teams are like kind of attacking him on defense too, which is like, wow, that's not what you expect from Clay. So I don't know, but Steve Kerr still trusts him. He's playing him a lot of minutes. I feel like maybe I feel like there's some times where he's just he can come out and some other guys who are playing well can step in. Like Poole's playing really well. Gary Payton, I've liked how Gary Payton's looked this year, and I feel like his mids have kind of gone down recently. I know he missed the last game for something. I don't know what it was, but I feel like he can get some more minutes again because he was playing really well for them. But yeah, I feel like once Draymond comes back, it's going to look a lot more fluid again. The offense, the defense is still pretty good, even though there's some guys aren't like I said, Clay hasn't looked that great, but everyone else is kind of doing their thing on that end still. But I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't write them off yet. They're still the Warriors. They still have once they're at full strength. You've seen it the whole year. They started off like 17-3. I don't think they have anything to worry about.
He just got to come back. Like Draymond's like this is one short thing, Christy. Like, they just got to come back. Yeah, they just like right now, especially if Draymond comes back and they heat up right before the playoffs. Like this is the best time to heat up at the right time. So as long as they do that, it shouldn't be too concerning. At least I don't think they're better than Phoenix. I think Phoenix is like number one, obviously in the West.
Same.
So. I mean, I wouldn't count them out as second round exits or anything like that. Like I feel like they could make it to the conference finals, and you definitely can never count them out with that system they have and every Curry and even though Clay has been hasn't been himself, which is kind of understandable with all the injuries come back from. I mean, you can't write him off. So
I think they're still the best bet to beat Phoenix out of anybody else in the West.
Yeah.
I don't hate. Yeah, no, I agree with that take, but at the same time, Aaron, what you said, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they get
second round exits.
I wouldn't be. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying if it did happen, I'm not gonna be terribly surprised. That's just me. But that's not even because I'm biased or anything. Because I said this in numerous earlier podcasts this year. The way that Clay comes back is going to be so important for this Warriors team. And so far, he hasn't looked right? And what Steve was saying earlier, he hasn't looked right on defense. The difference between me and Clay is, bro, after my ACL surgery, I'm back to playing defense. I'm playing great. You know what I mean? That's me. But, Clay's getting attacked. I don't know. Listen, I'm not even getting paid. You know what I mean? But anyway.
I mean, to be fair, he's coming off an ACL and an Achilles.
Yeah, well, I messed up both knees, so that's the equivalent. Anyway, but I think the one thing is also it's kind of it's understandable, right? But I just never thought I would see it is because I think it was the Warriors game that I was watching. The Warriors Nuggets game I was watching, right? And Clay was obviously jacking up a lot of shots, right? And I remember I hopped on the Warriors subreddit and I was scrolling through the game thread. And I swear there was a 20 comment stretch where it was what the hell is Clay doing? Take Clay out of the game. Send him to Santa Cruz just so you know what I mean? He can regain his rhythm. And everyone was just mad and frustrated. And you could see and it's rightfully so, right? Because I feel there's sometimes some moments where Clay kind of, gets his shot up. And I feel it kind of stalls the offense out a little bit and he kind of forces looks. I understand why he does it. And I remember I think in the third quarter he kind of came alive a little bit. Right. But it's just not very consistent enough to the point where you're all right, bet, do that. It's just ever since he got back, it's been a month and a half now or whatever. When did he come back?
Yeah.
Like January, February, something like that, right?
Wasn't it like January?
I think so. Yeah. So it was before the All-Star break. You know what I mean? And it's just like he still hasn't looked right. And again, he just looks a little bit slower out there. And obviously Draymond's importance to this team is obviously we all know how important he is. And yes, obviously when he comes back, I think they'll get back on track a little bit. But I'm just saying in terms of like again, like Wiggins hasn't been playing like an all-star. Like he's been playing like a Mickey Mouse all-star actually. Whatever Cavs legends, I'm not going to talk about too much smack, but yeah, like he's just kind of been, just inactive on offense. Like I've noticed he's been kind of like standing in the corner. That's crazy. He's been standing in the corner, not really, doing too much on that end. Jordan Poole has been really great, but and apart from that, like it just hasn't been, I guess, too much to talk about really. And I think it kind of is worrying because the craziest thing is Draymond's obviously up there in age. He's like what? He's like what, like 33 or something, 34. I'm tripping.
No,
I don't know.
I think he's younger than Steph. I think he's like 32,
32. All right.
something like that.
Yeah, but the main point I wanted to talk about is the fact that he has like a back injury, and those injuries are like the high key like the worst because the craziest thing about that is like doctors aren't really even like that I guess like quote unquote balls deep in like in terms of like how like the back works and the procedures that have to do with it, and
Mhm.
like bro like they like and that's another thing too. You can't even like throw Draymond back in there, right? You know what I mean? You have to play him on a minutes restriction. I feel like you can't just be like, yo, Draymond, go out there and guard a guy and then box out and then take all that beating on your back. Like, bro, you can't do that, especially if you want him in the playoffs. So it's just gonna be like, yo, like obviously Curry and Clay, they got to do something, kind of regain their mojo, and they got to do something back. Like I feel like there's like not even 20 games left in the season. So like, is it kind of concerning? Yeah, I feel like it kind of is. Um, provided they do find their spark, yeah, they could probably beat Phoenix, in the West. But like Aaron was saying earlier, what I said earlier, like I wouldn't be like I low-key wouldn't be surprised if they kind of flamed out by the second round, or you know what I mean, or had like a very like weak conference final showing. I just wouldn't be surprised because
Well, maybe well, Draymond's used to wearing a backpack when he shoots the ball anyway, so maybe that'll be like a little advantage for him when he comes back.
yeah,
But
maybe
no, I'm
maybe
fine
it's
with
the
that.
backpack that actually hurt his back. You know what I mean? Like,
Ugh.
maybe he has a
No,
freshman
but
backpack that kind of was like, oh, you know what I mean?
a few weeks ago, I was listening to JJ Redick's podcast. He had Draymond on, and he brought up a really good point where some of the fans were saying like they don't really like the looks that Clay's been getting and how he's like trying to create a lot for himself and take some like weird like off the dribble like contested shots, pull ups, and everything like that. And Draymond said like, yeah, Clay's that kind of guy where like he's going to demand his shot regardless of like what the situation is. But he said that's why it's important to have like our system that we have in place because like guys like me, Steph, Looney, like we all know Iguodala, like we all know how to get him open and what to do, and where like he likes to have the ball at all times, and like yeah, that this year they have a lot of new guys, like, but they got acclimated to the system pretty early without Clay, and now adding him back, it's been like a little weird because like he's used to how the Warriors played when he was there with him and Steph and Draymond and everything. And now with Draymond out too, it's like there's not as much. Draymond's kind of like their vocal leader on the court. Like we've said a lot today with like Lowry and Aaron Gordon and everything we were talking about. So like Draymond's like that guy for them, and without their vocal leader, it's kind of harder to orchestrate an offense and get everyone to where they need to be.
Right.
So I feel like even
Yeah.
if like they don't play him as many minutes, like I feel like at least having his presence on the court, I feel like that's at least going to like in those lineups going to make them get. I feel like that's going to get better at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron, how do you feel about your division rivals that you surprisingly never really explicitly said you hated? But yeah, I don't know. Kind of has me.
I mean, huh?
It's low-key has me sus, bro. I just never heard you say anything about them.
Uh, I mean, because they're like that's just like a historical thing. They really didn't like. There's no problem. It's just the Suns and
Oh,
like that. Well, for now, like obviously, like I wouldn't really count them out. That's like a given. Like there's no reason to fully overreact yet. I think it's because like the biggest thing is that Draymond hasn't been there for like a month now, and that's like he's a big contributor and key to like how the team functions and stuff. And getting like, getting Steph open looks and Clay now also like Jordan Poole and everyone. So like I don't think it's really an issue. Well, I mean it's an issue now, but like I don't think you should be worrying about it too much. So I mean, I think I think they can make it to the conference finals. That's my prediction. That they are a conference finals team. Obviously, I don't know if they'd make it to the finals against like over Phoenix. It depends, like obviously how team comes back and meshes together again. But I mean, I wouldn't overreact. Like they still have so much talent. You can never count out Steph, and like he's gonna have those performances in the playoffs. Like you can throw any type of defensive strategy against him, and he's bound to like just break it down. It doesn't matter at some point. So not I'm not like I wouldn't be too concerned if I'm a Warriors fan, honestly.
No, that's the one thing too. I think like in the Sun series, I would give like a 80% favor to the Suns. 85 probably. But what's it called? But like I said, with that being said, you know what I mean? I think obviously, yeah, Golden State is like, yeah, like you can never underestimate like the firepower that they have. I'm just saying the way I'm approaching it now, I'm just saying like, yo, you got, two all-star starters. You know what I mean? Like not even like, you know what I mean? Two all-star starters on your team. You got a young guy playing really well in Jordan Poole. You got guys that were playing, well, you still got, key guys like, like Steve said, Kevon Looney and um, Gary Payton the second and all of that. I feel like, bro, as long as you still have them and you were doing stuff earlier in the year, like I get it's without Draymond now, but I feel like there should be some semblance of competence. It just feels like they just kind of like, yo, what do we do now? It's like a lost like kitten or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of weird. It's like I don't think the fall off should be that drastic, is what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying like, and again, I'm not even trying to like overblow the situation. I'm not saying they're losing by 30 every night, but at the same time, you can see that they're kind of playing lost out there in certain possessions against certain teams, and it's just kind of weird. Like I just don't think that should be the case, but that's what I feel. But um,
Also, real fast, I just want to shout out Kuminga and Moody. They've both been playing really well lately with like a bunch of guys being out. I think the last 5 games, Kuminga's putting up like 17 a game. And Moody, he's had some starts recently. He had that 130-point game against Denver, like the first game against Denver, not the most recent one. Yeah. When Steph and everybody else, Steph, Wiggins, and Clay were all out, he put up 30, and he was like, I think he had like 15 in the first. He went like 5 of 5 shooting. Like he was really going off that game and showing off what he can do. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if they'll use Kuminga in the playoffs and what they'll do with him. Like I feel like he's definitely earned a spot in the rotation, but like I don't, with the way they play and everything, I don't know if they're gonna be able to use him that much in the playoffs just now.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, he's still like a raw rookie. You know what I mean? But like that's a good point because Kuminga is one of my favorite prospects coming into the draft. It's just that I like people were saying we should like trade down for him and all of that, and like I would have been down. You know what I mean? I just don't know like how he would have again came to fruition. But like I said at the draft recap episode, I'm happy the Golden State picked him up, and you're showing like why. You know what I mean? Like you're showing. Like it's showing why, like it's good that he ended up there because like they're really maximizing it, and I think I've been really kind of surprised by his 3-point shot. You know what I mean? I think he shot like 22% in the G League or something, but now he's like actually like he's knocking him down and
it's over 30, I think.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, bro, it's like, and he's only what, like 19? He just turned 19.
He was like one of the youngest players in the draft, I think. It was like
he was
like Josh. It was like Josh Primo and then him, I think, were the two youngest.
Yeah, right. So it's like, bro, like again,
it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I really like him as a prospect, and I'm like, bro, I can't wait for his like his growth. But yeah.
Just real fast before we end the episode too. I just got a notification says that it's expected. There's optimism that for the Bucks next week, both George Hill and Brook Lopez could be back for them.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
We haven't seen Brook Lopez since like the first 2 or 3 games of the season, so
I
think he's also coming off a back injury. So it'll be interesting to see how he's brought back into the lineup, especially with Portis playing the way he has been.
Yeah, no. I think George Hill. I'm not going to talk about that brick layer at the free throw line. But whatever. What are you saying, Aaron? You said Cruz is back today?
Yeah.
Oh, he's back today? That's awesome.
I thought he was
against the Cavs too, right?
Yeah, but Levine's out. Chris Fedor texted me. So,
he texted you as soon as I got the Bleacher Report notification. You could have gotten for free.
No, but then he texted me that Lowry's out. So that should be interesting. I think Kevin Lowe's starting. I think LeVert's still out, and I have no idea. Where the hell LeVert is, bro. Why did we trade all these picks for you, Brody? Please come back soon. You're kind of making me sad. So yeah. Anyway, but that was the 17th episode, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an hour since we started streaming. There are currently 3 viewers. Count it. Oh my gosh, that might be just us 3.
I'm not in there, so it can't be us 3.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm one of them.
I'm in it.
Huh?
I said I'm in it.
Okay, so there's one extra person. Whoever that is, you're thorough. Appreciate the love.
Well,
But if you're listening to this in a future date via Spotify or Apple Podcasts, we do appreciate the support. If you have missed the announcement, we will be live 5:30, 6 o'clock ish EST every Saturday. We're gonna try to make it more consistent for you guys. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, do subscribe, do drop 5-star reviews, just show support, put it on your retweet it on your story, show love, whatever good. Thank you. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. And as per usual, I'm signing out. Gentlemen, if you want to say your goodbyes.
Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy March Madness.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you soon.